So here we go then, let's do this. It's match day 5 of those all-important FIFA World Cup qualifiers in the CAF African qualifying section. Much anticipated matches, but I'm telling you, it's going to get nervous, it's going to get emotional. No room for mistakes now. 6 games to go. This is the halfway stage, match day 5 out of a possible 10 in these World Cup qualifiers. These games have a lot meaning on them, so let's take a look at what we've got to look forward to. Actually, well, we need to talk about this group here, first of all, that involves Morocco. Now, Morocco were always going to win this group. They had by far the best team in it. Even when there were 6 teams in it, it then went down to 5 teams with the withdrawal of Eritrea. So that begged the question, what's going to happen for teams that finish second? Because obviously, if you come second in Morocco's group, you're at a much more of a disadvantage because you're playing 2 games less because you don't play Eritrea home or away. So how are you going to be one of the best fourth place teams finishing second if there's less fixtures? Well, that's going to get even more complicated because it looks like now Congo, another team in this group, what are the chances, have been banned by FIFA or CAF or whatever. So we've lost Eritrea and now it looks like we're going to lose Congo as well unless they win their appeal, which would leave this group just 4 teams, which means Tanzania wouldn't play Congo. So I don't know what they're going to do here. I don't know what they're going to do with the results that Congo have already played. I don't think they had any points, but the teams that beat Congo, are they going to lose their points? You've now got a team with a group with just 4 teams. You've got Morocco, Zambia, Tanzania and Niger. What an unbelievable opportunity. If you're Niger, you could go to the World Cup, come second and give yourselves a chance. Well, I don't know how that's going to happen. How are you going to come second in this group? If you're from Tanzania, Niger or Zambia, how are you going to come second when you're playing 4 games less than all the teams in all the other groups? So I don't understand how that's going to work. It might make it more complicated in the other groups where people are coming second, or CAF might just sack off the second place thing in this group and it's just bad luck. But really interesting to see what happens there. It also means if Congo are out and banned, that Morocco could be the first African team to qualify for the World Cup for 2026 if they win their games. So let's see what happens, but a bit of a messy group overall there. So a couple of games to get out of the way there. And then it kicks off actually with Tunisia playing away to Liberia. Tunisia in a very positive position after Equatorial Guinea lost those 6 points, although they've got to go to Liberia and get something. And Central African Republic will be playing against Madagascar in Morocco. I think Liberia and Tunisia could draw, although Tunisia have got a new manager. We don't know what they're going to be like. But certainly Tunisia looking good, especially with those 6 points taken off Equatorial Guinea. You'd expect Tunisia to have enough against Liberia, and I think Central African Republic, even though playing in Morocco, should have enough against Madagascar. Then it gets interesting. You've got Malawi against Namibia. Again, those also 2 teams in the group with Tunisia and Equatorial Guinea, and Namibia now with the closest challenge to the Tunisians. So if Namibia want to be taken seriously, they're going to have to go to Malawi and get something. A few games happening where it could be some thrashings, some batterings, some cricket scores, like Gabon, Seychelles. You're putting Aubameyang against the beach, Aubameyang against an island. What could Gabon do against Seychelles? It could be 5, it could be 6. The same could be said for Cape Verde. They're at home to Mauritius. They'll be looking to fill their boots as well. Eswatini against Cameroon. That game's happening in South Africa. Yes, there's a pattern emerging. A lot of games happening in neutral venues, apart from Botswana, it would seem. Cameroon, Eswatini in South Africa. I mean, you've got the likes of Mbeumo and stuff like that. You'd expect Cameroon to fill their boots. Mozambique against Uganda. If Mozambique win that, they'll go top of Algeria's group before Algeria kick off their game. Zimbabwe are playing Benin. That's also in South Africa. Looking like maybe a Zimbabwe win there as well. Sierra Leone, Guinea-Bissau is happening in Liberia, because there's quite a few pitches here which aren't deemed ready to be used. Sierra Leone, Guinea-Bissau, one of those needs to win that game if they want any chance of making it. Egypt are by far and away ahead in that group, so if these lot want to get second, Sierra Leone or Guinea-Bissau are going to have to win that game. This could be quite a big game. Libya against Angola, actually happening in Libya as well. That could be huge. Angola only 2 points off the top, but Libya looking strong. Let's see what happens between Libya and Angola. And Gambia taking on Kenya in Cote d'Ivoire. And Gambia, of course, another team that can't play at home. But after not making the AFCON, Gambia will be looking to make it to the World Cup. But again, it's going to be very difficult for them to do that. And then we come on to the 21st of March, which is a Friday, which is where the bulk of the matches will be happening. Now, I've got big problems with what's going on here. So, why on earth have Algeria got to go all the way to Botswana when they're fasting in Ramadan and play at 1 o'clock UK time? That is ridiculous. Now, the excuse we're hearing out of Botswana is that because of the lighting and the floodlights in the stadium, the lights don't work to play in the evening. Well, then surely, if the lights don't bloody work, how have CAF and FIFA approved that stadium to be used when, as I've already spoken about, so many games are happening in another country or a neutral venue? But yet, Botswana haven't got any lighting, they've got no electricity, for God's sake, and they're playing the game at lunchtime when our players haven't eaten. So that is the disgrace. And what makes it even more ridiculous is that Niger-Morocco, which is an away game for Morocco, it's happening in Morocco, 9:30, when everyone's going to be going to they'll be finished in the mosque. It's way after the fifth prayer. They'll be there. And Ethiopia, Egypt, evening game in Morocco as well. So you've got two North African sides there with away games in North Africa after Iftar. Whereas Algeria have to go to the other end of the world and play Botswana at lunchtime. I just can't understand it. If the stadium's lighting isn't working, it can't be approved. So I think, and we all know this, there's a massive agenda against us. I told you, CAF, it stands for causing Algeria's failure. So we're going to have to deal with that. Anyway, we get on to that. We've got loads of games. We've got Equatorial Guinea at home to Sao Tome and Principe. That could be a battering. Now, Equatorial Guinea, even though they lost the 6 points, Nsue has now got his appeal and his ban done. So Nsue is back available for Equatorial Guinea. Can they chase back the points they lost? DR Congo against South Sudan. That could be a cricket score. DR Congo looking to get into that top spot. They've got Sudan and Senegal to deal with, but DR Congo need to beat South Sudan convincingly at home, and I think they will. Obviously, Botswana against Algeria, we're going to have all eyes, all the build up to that one. I think we will win, but it's going to be more difficult than it looks on paper, particularly with the whole Ramadan situation. Rwanda, Nigeria. Now, Rwanda are actually top of the group at the moment, and Rwanda have appointed an Algerian coach. So there is an Algerian coach in Africa now, Adel Amrouche, took Tanzania to the AFCON and got sacked halfway through the Cup. Rwanda with Amrouche take on Nigeria or Eric Shell. Nigeria played 4-1 none. So big game there. If Nigeria want to get right back in the mix, they're going to have to win that. Burkina Faso at home to Djibouti. I expect Faso to run riot. Remember the World Cup in Qatar? Burkina Faso hosted Djibouti. Same thing happening there. But Faso not playing at home. They're playing in Morocco as well. South Africa, Lesotho. The South Africans should be very comfortable at home in that one. Looking to pile the goals against Lesotho. Togo against Mauritania. Two teams that I don't think have a real chance of going to this World Cup, if I'm being totally honest. Like I said, Niger, Morocco, but ultimately it doesn't matter because Morocco are always going to qualify out of that group. And it looks like not one, but two sides have now withdrawn from that group. Ethiopia, Egypt. Egypt have such a big lead already again, but obviously they don't have to go to Ethiopia, to Abyssinia. They can play in Morocco, and I think Ethiopia beat Egypt in the AFCON qualifier a couple of years ago, but now with Salah and Marmoush, Egypt are in a much better place. Guinea against Somalia, that's happening in Ivory Coast. Of course, that's in Algeria's group. Now, Guinea still can't play in Guinea, in Conakry. Wouldn't surprise me if when Algeria have to play Guinea, that will happen in Guinea. But as of right now, they're at home to Somalia in Cote d'Ivoire. Girassi particularly, after not making the AFCON, Guinea are going to have to fill their boots in that one, and they'll know what's happened in Botswana when they kick off. Ghana as well. Ghana home to Chad. Ghana have been shocking. Now AFCON for them. Chad are in the mud. The best 6-7 players at Chad not being called up. Burundi against Ivory Coast. Again, that's in Morocco. Cote d'Ivoire playing in Morocco, but Cote d'Ivoire looking in a very strong position. But if they slip up in Burundi, or in Morocco, Gabon will be looking to pounce. And Comoros against Mali, also in Morocco. Yeah, there's a pattern emerging here. I think this could be really big. You've got Ghana in that group, you've got Comoros flying, and you've got Mali needing to catch up, needing to get to their first World Cup ever. I think if Comoros come out of that game undefeated, they'll be very, very happy. And rounding it off, Sudan against Senegal in Libya, of course, of what's happening, unfortunately, in Sudan. Of course, they have to play as well. That's where they're playing in Libya, and they are currently top. That is a huge game. Congo will be hoping for a draw. Are Sudan going to get Hani Mukhtar involved in time for that one? So we're expecting 27 games across the continent. It looks like we're going to get 25 if those 25 go ahead. And around about half it looked like to be taking place in a neutral venue. But I've got to say, some teams are at a huge disadvantage, particularly Algeria. I mean, I know Tunisia have to go to Liberia, but that's not as far, and they're playing at 4. They're not playing at 1. A lot closer to the sun setting, and the temperature will be a lot cooler as well. There's some games here where teams really need to get the points on the board. I think you look at Nigeria, they need to get points on the board. I think Senegal are going to be in trouble if they lose in Sudan. And there's teams like Ghana and Gabon, with the teams they're playing at home, Equatorial Guinea, they've got to be smashing these teams. They've got to be getting that goal difference up, because the goal difference could be what it comes down to between getting in first and in the second spot. So lots of football to look forward to on match day 5. What's the biggest game? I think the Botswana game could genuinely be the biggest game. Comoros Mali is a big clash as well. But I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you looking forward to match day 5 of the World Cup qualifiers? Let's see what happens, and I'll see you next time.